I've been reminding you that the times and seasons belong to God. And when we are looking out across society and seeking the face of God, and we come into a realization of God's perspective, that perspective is always victorious. God is in control. He's working out his purposes, even though there are difficulties, and those difficulties are going to increase throughout this year. God is in control and he is with us. Now, I suggest that one of the best ways of understanding what's happening today is that a spirit of chaos is being released across the nations of the world. We see this in every area: political areas, social areas, economic areas, international relations, and even the war in Ukraine, the Russian war in Ukraine. All this is bringing instability, and it's about a spirit of chaos, which is ultimately based in rebellion against God. Now, as I understand it, God is allowing this to happen so that the shaking that he is bringing will continue. But his shaking is a positive shaking. He is shaking the things that can be shaken so that his kingdom, which cannot be shaken, will be more firmly established, and people will recognize that the only stability we have is in the rule of God, the kingdom of God in our lives. And that's why I've been encouraging you to align yourself with God's kingdom. We overcome the powers of chaos and disorder and confusion by holding firm to the kingdom. Now, I believe that there's going to be increased chaos asserting itself like a spirit moving across the nations of the world. And every realm will be affected. The spiritual realm, the ongoing spiritual rebellion, which is both human and spiritual in origin, is going to continue to have effects on the earth. There's going to be new spiritual initiatives. When I say spiritual, I mean the negative side of the enemy's spiritual activity, trying to bring more of what our spiritual enemy wants: destruction, devastation, control, deception, spiritual blindness, attack on churches, leaders and members, and ministries being targeted, and massive temptations coming. But we know that as we humble ourselves before God and line up with him and submit to him, we can resist the devil, our enemy, the adversary, and we can be strengthened and lifted up, encouraged, blessed, and prosperous in the presence of God. In the physical realm, too, there's going to be increased effects of spiritual and human rebellion in our physical environment. Earthquakes, famines, floods, pestilence, disease, droughts, extreme weather, storms, even disrupting shipping and maybe even sinking some vessels, and also solar interferences in the skies, which can even produce some disruption of telecommunications. That's the physical realm. And in the political realm, of course, we're going to see continued shaking and continued chaos, politically, economically, in the realm of transportation, trading systems being shaken, food supply chains being broken or at least reshaped according to political priorities, more control of governments over their peoples, more extreme and widespread persecution of Christians, new political alignments to reshape the geopolitics of the world, wars and threats of wars increase. I believe attempts to resolve the Russian-Ukrainian war will be made during 2023, but a lasting solution is going to be elusive. And I think the conflict is going to draw nations into different forms of alignment, new axes of alignment. China, Iran, India, perhaps also Latin American countries and some Eastern European countries. And there's going to be a sudden and dramatic rise and fall of political leaders across the globe. Entire political systems will be shaken globally and nationally. But remember, we are receiving a kingdom that cannot be shaken. And just as it was in the days of Israel, when God was shaking the nation of Egypt with all those plagues, some of those plagues affected God's people, the Israelites, but there came a time when God said no more. He protected his people in the land of Goshen, and they were kept safe and protected while chaos was happening around them. So whatever God calls us to go through, we go through it humbly, looking to him for his security and his provision and protection during those times. And we know that the God who is with us will stand firm with us. And as we walk with him, we are going to flourish and we're going to prosper in 2023.